Let's pick up on that conversation we were having with TSN's football analyst Dave Naylor. The NFL season kicks off tomorrow night. It's Cowboys, Eagles, 8:20. Of course, you can catch the action on TSN. You can also catch Dave Naylor on TSN Talking Football. And Dave, trying to read between the lines of what I could sort of hear you saying before the technical glitches there. You think, looks like Philadelphia Eagles, a lot of people thinking they are the favorites potentially to repeat at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think a couple of things that really jump out about them. One is it's a fairly young roster. And that's what I was saying just before you had the break there, was that this is not a team that's at the end of a long stretch. They're still a fairly young team at the key positions, particularly on defense. And then the other thing I think is that they finished so strong last year. I mean, that was a shocking result. When you think of how dominant Kansas City has been, and how they almost in their DNA, it's like every game is close, comes down to the last few plays. Well, this one was over at halftime, basically. So I think there's a lot of intrigue about what the Eagles will be. And in the AFC, I mean, we always defer to Kansas City because it seems they're always the team to beat. But I think the team that a lot of people have their eyes on are the teams that are meeting on Sunday night, Buffalo and Baltimore. I mean, Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen from the same draft class, those two quarterbacks, both 7 years into their careers. Between them, they have 3 MVPs and 0 Super Bowl appearances. And I think you're talking about two organizations where the expectations are, that they are going to get to a Super Bowl. But I mean, this is Baltimore's season ended by the slimmest of margins on the field at Orchard Park last January. And that's where it will kick off Sunday night. And I can guarantee you, whichever team does not win this one, there will be a degree of panic in the other team's fan base.
Yeah, even though it's just one game, Dave, that's for sure. And everyone remembers that playoff game. The anticipation, the excitement. Buffalo snake bit in the 80s, those 4 straight Super Bowl losses, haven't quite been able to make it, over the hump. What's different about that team this year? Because so many, fans in Southern Ontario are really cheering for the Bills. Pardon me.
Well, think of the Bills this way. It's essentially the exact same team on the offensive side of the ball. I might throw in, with the addition of Brampton, Ontario's Joshua Palmer, who spent his 4 years of his career with the Chargers, and they signed him free agency. But it's going to be a lot of familiarity. The offensive line, the playmakers, Josh Allen, of course, the running backs. They've signed James Cook to a new contract just a couple of weeks ago. So the Bills on offense will be very much as you remember them from last year, which was the highest scoring Bills history. That's why they didn't make a lot of changes. Defensively, this is a reworked team. I mean, they made a lot of splashes in free agency on the defensive side of the ball. 6 of their first 7 draft picks from the draft back in April were defensive players. So that's the ball that's let the Bills down, both in the postseason and at times during the regular season. And they've given them the tools and the assets to try to fix it. So I think the Bills are hoping they'll score just as much and give up a lot less than they did a year ago.
No kidding. I know the fans are hoping the same thing, Dave. Okay, we can't talk about the NFL anymore without talking, of course, about Patrick Mahomes and Mr. Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce. They've been to the Super Bowl 3 straight times now. How is that team looking? I mean, they're getting a little longer in the tooth. What are the thoughts on the Chiefs now?
Well, I think that is one of the questions, because Travis Kelce is one of those players who he's going to the Hall of Fame, and he can still be very effective. But this is a team that has been built around their primary offensive weapon being their tight end for a decade. And that era, I think, is coming to an end. So I think people look at Kansas City as so much of what they've done recently has been based on their defense. And look, there's serendipity in football. You need some luck in a sport where a lot of games come down to 2 or 3 or 4 plays. But what the Chiefs pulled off week after week after week after week last year, right down to the AFC Championship game with their 3-point win over Buffalo, I think people think it's probably going to return to the mean, that's not repeatable. So that's I think the Chiefs are. It seems strange to say that they're not necessarily the team to beat in the AFC because, of course, they did represent the conference in the Super Bowl last year. But I am among those who will not be surprised if the Chiefs take a bit of a step back this year.
Yeah, I remember, Dave, their record was 13-2 or something. It could have been 2-13, just with just the way the scores were for the Chiefs last year. Okay, TSN's football insider Dave Naylor. We're going to look forward to watching you all season long. Have fun in Buffalo. We'll see you Sunday night as well, I guess.
Yeah, going out this afternoon to do something for SportsCenter to set up the Ravens and the Bills, and I certainly will be there.
Okay, we'll be watching. Yeah, sounds good. Dave Naylor from TSN. Thanks, Dave. Have a safe travels.